Hello and welcome. This is Matthias 76. Together, we are decoding the deception, and we are continuing in the book of Revelation here today. In Revelation chapter 3, verse 7, we're looking at the letters to the seven churches, and this is the letter to the church in Philadelphia. Let's jump right in. And to the angel of the church in Philadelphia write the words of the Holy One, the true One, who has the key of David, who opens and no one will shut, who shuts and no one opens. The letter to the church in Philadelphia is unique in a number of ways. One, there's nothing negative that's going to be said about the believers here in Philadelphia. Nothing that the Lord Jesus is correcting, only commending and encouraging. So that's a difference. But also, there isn't as clear, there is, but it's not as clear, a connection with the way Jesus appeared in the opening of the book. In most of the letters, he's referring to himself, presenting himself in a way that ties directly to the image that was there in chapter 1 in those early verses. Now, there is here with him saying the words of the Holy One, the true One, if we go to Revelation 1:5, and from Jesus Christ, the faithful witness, and we can see what we have here in verse 7 of chapter 3, the Holy One, the true One, holy, true, faithful witness. We see the connection. This is just a little bit more drawn out of a phrasing of how it is presented. Interestingly, he makes a reference to something that is not there in those opening verses. Who has the key of David? The key of David. With this, we're going to go take a look at Isaiah 22:22, and this is talking about the Messiah. And I will place on his shoulder the key of the house of David. He shall open, and none shall shut. He shall shut, and none shall open. So we can see that this is a direct quotation from what is said there in Isaiah 22. Now, what is this key? What would this key be? The idea is it is the king's key to the storehouse of treasures. In David's case, actual wealth, the things that would be there. And then you think of all the wealth of Solomon. All that good stuff was locked away. And who had the key? It was the king. Here, this is more of an allusion to the concept of the bounty of all that is his. And what are the treasures of Christ? It's his righteousness. It is the redemption that he has won. And then all of the storehouse of his grace that rains down upon us because we are his. We are his children of the king. So it is the one who has the key of David, who opens and no one will shut, and shuts and no one will open. God will bestow his grace as he sees fit, and those who are undeserving, unfaithful, non-believers, don't get those blessings. And for the believer, those blessings will be bestowed upon them. The key will open that storehouse for them, no matter what the world wants to say about it. Important point. This world and those who rule here, the prince of this world, they cannot prevent God from showering his grace upon us. And sometimes we live as though they can. The good things that come from the Lord, those eternal blessings that are ours in him, no one can take away. No matter how things appear in this world, no matter what is going on, no one can take those blessings from us. Important point, an important truth that we need to live. We can know the truth, but there is a difference, a distinction between just knowing the truth and living the truth. The good things that are mine from the Lord, the most important things that are mine from the Lord, no one can take away. No one can prevent me from receiving them. He goes on, I know your works. Behold, I have set before you an open door, which no one is able to shut. I know that you have but a little power, and yet you have kept my word and have not denied my name. Behold, I will make those of the synagogue of Satan who say that they are Jews and are not, but lie. Behold, I will make them come and bow down before your feet, and they will learn that I have loved you, because you have kept my word because you have kept my word about patient endurance. I will keep you from the hour of trial that is coming on the whole world to try those who dwell on the earth. I am coming soon. Hold fast what you have, so that no one may seize your crown. The one who conquers, I will make him a pillar in the temple of my God. Never shall he go out of it. And I will write on him the name of my God and the name of the city of my God, the new Jerusalem, which comes down from my God out of heaven, and my own new name. He who has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says to the churches. So again, there is nothing negative. There is no word of correction, no word of rebuke that goes to the church in Philadelphia. It's only praise and encouragement that they remain faithful, that they remain true. He says, I know your works. Now we can think of the church in Sardis, which in my last video, I used the title, The Church of the Living Dead. They did works, but there was no faith, or very, very little faith behind those works. Here, that's not the case. Jesus is pointing at their works, the evidence of their faith, those things that you can point at and say, look here. And he's doing so in praise. I know your works. Behold, I have set before you an open door which no one is able to shut. What is that open door? Now, he's going to talk about them being weak, about them not having much power, about them coming under the assaults, whatever nature they were, we don't know. But these unbelieving Jews, whom Jesus himself refers to as what? The synagogue of Satan. But in spite of all of that, there is this open door. Well, what is that open door? Well, we were just told up above, it is the door that the key of David, that storehouse of the king, that is the door that is before them. The grace of God is here for us in abundance. It was here for the believers in Philadelphia in abundance, without measure, more than you can need. That's important. Hard times come. And it's always important, but especially when hard times come, the grace of God has the power to get us through no matter what. And it's not dependent on our intelligence. It's not dependent on our abilities. It's not dependent on any of that. What does Jesus say? I know that you have but a little power. These people were not power players in the world. They weren't in positions of authority. They weren't held in high regard, but they were faithful. Strength doesn't come from those other things, the things that the world admires and looks at and is impressed by, right? Those are not the things that matter. How we use them, if we're faithful and we've got abilities and we have things with which we can serve that the world might look at and say, wow, he's really talented in this way or that way. It doesn't matter what the world thinks about it. It matters how we use it, that faithfulness, the works that we do. But there is an open door, and it gives us all the strength that we need. The storehouse of God's grace, his blessing, his equipping us to be able to stand up, to stand firm, and more than standing, to be victorious. He's going to get to that, as he always does. But yeah, we've got a little power, just a little bit. But we can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, just as Paul said to the Philippians in chapter 4, verse 13. What does he say? I know your works, but I've set before you this open door which no one is able to shut. I know that you have but a little power, and yet you have kept my word and have not denied my name. It's so simple And it doesn't sound praiseworthy or great or impressive, but what is it Jesus points to? You've kept my word. You've held it fast. You lived accordingly, not perfectly, because we're all under that beautiful umbrella of God's grace, but faithfully. You're faithful. You've kept my word and you haven't denied my name. It's what Jesus sees. And now, to those who were oppressing them, behold, I will make those of the synagogue of Satan. How harsh is that? What a condemnation is that? The children of God, the chosen nation of Israel, the ones who had been entrusted with the promises, with the prophecies, with that hope, those who rejected him in spite of all of that, there is a hardness of heart that is there. And here, and we see throughout the New Testament, not just during the ministry of Christ with the Sadducees and the Pharisees and all of them constantly attacking, as is pointed out so well and illustrated for us in the Gospel of John, but then throughout the ministry of the church that we see in Acts and Paul's letters, always under attack. Always under attack by whom? Who was it always who started it? It was the Jews. So at this point, the Lord Jesus Christ himself is referring to these Jews, the house of Israel that had rejected him, as the synagogue of Satan, who say that they are Jews. If they were Jews, they'd believe in me. If you accepted my Father, you would accept me, Jesus said to them face to face. But they didn't, so many of them, the majority of them, and are not, but lie. I mean, that's really strong. You're a synagogue of Satan who say that they're Jews, but are not, but lie. Behold, behold, behold is always, here it comes. This is big. Don't miss this. Behold, I will make them come and bow down before your feet, and they will learn that I have loved you. Now, how was Jesus going to make them come and bow down before the feet of the believers in Philadelphia? We don't know. We're not told. We're not privy to that. Was this something that was going to transpire in this life? I would assume so, but I can't say so absolutely. It could be. We always need to be careful of saying what we know and what we don't know. And the text just tells us this. It could be that this is talking about them recognizing who the real believers were, being forced to recognize on the day of judgment who the true believers were. It could be that. It seems to be it was going to be something temporal. And I say that because of what's going to come a little bit later. But that would seem to be the case, and it is definitely both. Because you have kept my word about patient endurance, I will keep you from the hour of trial that is coming on the whole world to try those who dwell on the earth. Now, this verse, interpreters are going to take and run in all directions with, and they will do so according to their own theological predispositions, their views and opinions, etc. And that's always the case. But I would say that this, well, let's start here. This letter was written when Domitian, D-O-M-I-T-I-I-O-N, Domitian was emperor, and there was all kinds of persecution going on. John was on the island of Patmos because of the preaching of the word, and these churches were going through greater persecution because of the preaching of the word. This being kept from the hour of trial that is coming upon the whole world could be those believers there in Philadelphia, were going to be spared from something that was going to happen in the near future. That could well be. That could well be. That's where I would lean with it, because it's to try those who dwell on the earth. Or it could be just reminding all of us, the believers in Philadelphia and all of us, that there are trials and judgments, and especially as we look at the 7 bowls of God's wrath being poured out upon the world, and there it is very clearly delineated that those things are judgments on unbelievers, that we are spared from some of the harsh things in the latter times because We have that open door before us that no one can shut in the grace of God, and we are spared from the spiritual affliction that unbelievers will endure. So it could be one. It's definitely the latter. It could be both. I'm always very honest about what I believe. We can say is the case, isn't the case, might be the case. And it's okay to say might be. I think a lot of theologians, a lot of biblical interpreters go off the rails because they think they have to have the answer. And if there's one place we want to walk carefully in that regard, in our treatment of Scripture, in our proclamation of what it's saying, it's in the book of Revelation. Sometimes we just have to say, don't really know for sure. Could be this, could be that, could be both. It's likely both. And that's where I'm going here. He says, I am coming soon. Soon. The word soon here is best understood quickly. Quickly. There's soon, you can see the connection, temporal connection between soon and quickly, right? But quickly is in keeping with that idea. And the word used here in the Greek, taki, is used both ways. But how is Jesus going to come on the last day? Like a what? Like a thief in the night when you don't expect it. Quickly, it's going to happen. Okay? You don't know when. And that applies, there are two last days. There are two last days. Is for you, whoever you are, out there listening in the audience, important to understand there are two last days. There's the last day that's the last day for everybody who's still here on this earth, and it's the final last day, I guess, for everyone. But I have my last day. Could be today, could be tomorrow, could be 20 years from now. I don't know. But we each have our own last day, that time when the Lord comes, and very often it's unexpected. We didn't see it coming. It's not like everybody is laying in a hospital bed or in a bed in hospice fading out slowly. It's not the way it works. The Lord comes in his own time, and we don't know. That's the concept of quickly here. It's a sudden thing. Boom, it's over. And the time of grace that we have here in this world is over, and we are moving on to whatever our place in eternity is. So I am coming soon, quickly. Hold fast to what you have, so that no one may seize your crown. We can't be told often enough, hold on to it. It's too easy to let your grasp grow weak, that you're not holding fast to the things that matter. Everything calls to us. It all calls to us, all the things in this world. And Satan is so wise and persistent, and this world appeals to us, and what appeals to you and calls to you that would lure you away and tempt you away from holding fast that crown is different than what it is for me. But hold fast. Don't let go. The one thing that matters, hold on to it and let everything else go if you have to. Hold fast to what you have so that no one may seize your crown, that picture of victory, the victor's crown, right? The one who conquers. This is so cool what he says here. The one who conquers, I will make him a pillar in the temple of my God. Think of a temple. Think of, all of those big, huge marble pillars that hold the ceiling up, that are 40 feet high, whatever, engraved with whatever kind of capital on the top. That's what God says you're going to be in his eternal home. A pillar. Pillars don't leave. You can't take one out. And it's impossible. You couldn't take one out. They're there. It's a permanent fixture. The one who conquers, there again, we've talked about conquering with every one of these letters, the victory that is ours, I will make him a pillar in the temple of my God. And what is the temple? A temple is the place where God dwells. We will be with him for all eternity. Never shall he go out of it. And I will write on him the name of my God and the name of the city of my God. With writing the name on, I always think, because my kids watched it so many times when we had it was a VHS tape back in the day, but Toy Story and Woody, and he looks at the bottom of his boot, and written in a small child's handwriting, it says Andy. He knew whose he was. He was Andy's. Well, Jesus is saying he's writing the Father's name on us and the name of the city of my God, like the address, My dog wears a tag. It's got his name and the phone number that somebody can call if he happens to run off, right? I will write on him the name of my God and the name of the city of my God. So we're a permanent fixture with his name and the name of the city of our God written on us as well. The New Jerusalem, which comes down from my God out of heaven. And my new name, new here, this idea of new. There's different kinds of new. There's different kinds of new. I had a technological problem with a piece of hardware today, computer hardware that I use for work, and I got a new headset sent out to me because the other one had a defect and the company honored the warranty and they sent me a new one. Well, it's just like the other one. I can hold the two of them up and look at them. Other than that the one doesn't work anymore and the one does, they look identical, but this one's new, right? That's new as far as time goes. And then there's new that has that temporal component to it, but is also different. It's different. It's new. It's something else. It's something special. The kind of thing that says, wow, well, that's something new. I've never seen that before. That kind of new. So that's what the New Jerusalem is. It's something else altogether. It's not something that's going to be redone over in Palestine and any of that millennial stuff. No, this is something new, different altogether, which comes down from my God out of heaven, that picture of all good things descending from the Father, just the way it's talked about at the end of the book of Revelation, in my own new name. Even Jesus has a new name, that him being the victorious Son of God, completely new and different and distinct from anything else. And how does he end the letter? As always, he who has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says to the churches. So there's a lesson just in, there are all kinds of lessons that we've covered here already, but there's a lesson just in this. Even in the church where there was no problem, Jesus is urging them, hold on, hold on. What does that tell us? When even those who were doing well, he gives these words of warning by saying, hold on, don't let it go. Don't let it go. It's the reminder that we need to be faithful, that we need to be focused on the one thing, as Jesus with Mary and Martha said. He told Martha, Martha, you're worried about many things. Mary has chosen the one thing needful, and it won't be taken away from her. We want to make sure that we choose the one thing needful and hold it fast. And that's what the Spirit is encouraging us to do here. All right, we're going to stop there. Next time, we're going to Laodicea and that lukewarm church there in Laodicea. That is the last of the 7 letters to the 7 churches. Do appreciate you being here. Appreciate you joining us. I appreciate all of those of you who go out, and I know some of you are working through playlists that we have, because when you go to our website at decodingthedeception.com, right here at the website, you can come, and Bible videos and all our playlists are here. You can go and work your way through any of them in order, and I know a lot of you do that. We appreciate you following along. Appreciate you sharing this video with others, giving it a thumbs up, posting it on your own social media feed. It does mean a lot to us. This is Matthias 76. Together, we are decoding the deception. God bless and have a great day.